I'm fine with it.
Anxiety meds, the way it works.
All right, are you ready, Jonathan? All right.
Sheila's in the restroom. He's good.
Let's wait a minute here.
It's fine.
Oh. Did you get my deed I sent out here?
Yes, sir.
Don't you think you're the keeper of the deed?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I didn't know where else to go with this.
Yep. Yep.
All right, he's back. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Roll call, Becky. Don't want to interrupt your shopping online, but can we do roll call?
No, Marvin emailed me. Bob Olson,
Here.
John Nicholson,
Yes.
Mike Copine,
Yes.
Jim Sheeline,
Yes.
Chris Norberg,
Present.
Jim Wentling.
Here. Thank you. Did everybody get a chance to look the minutes over? Is there any corrections? They're fine. None, we'll let them stand as read then. Visitors, we'll go around the room. Hey,
Hi, Bob.
how you doing?
Right now.
Okay, Alice? Sure. Okay, all right. All righty. Good, Bob. Yes. Oh, Marilyn, I'm sorry.
Nothing at this time. Thank you, Bob.
All right. How are you doing, Marilyn?
I'm recovering. Still don't have clearance to drive, but I'm thinking by next Monday I should be driving.
Good news. All right, thank you. Monthly claims, let's go to reports of committees. Chris?
Yeah, the minutes are in the packet. We'll talk about a couple things as we move through, but know that we're looking at rules and procedures. We're beginning that, and we'll discuss the claims policy that at a later time.
You don't want to discuss the claims now, or? we're
No,
gonna-
it's on the agenda.
Okay, all right.
That's it.
Jim, finance?
We met this morning, briefly talked about the swipe cards for this building. New courthouse already been updated. We got 3 proposals for our audit services for the 3 years coming, and coming to executive to go to the board as a recommendation from finance to approve the proposal of Waterbach and Amman. We discussed a proposed franchise agreement with Comcast. We're waiting for possibly some more information on that. We had, okay, that's already going to be on the resolution for the letter of credit. We voted on it, but we need to do the resolution. The badge maker, I don't approve the funding for that, possibly out of the American Rescue Act. Sheriff gave a brief discussion on his overtime. He's almost out. And that's about it. Any questions?
Questions for Jim? Thank you. Jim?
We met Monday, all present and 2 on Zoom. You've got the report, the minutes in front of you. The only thing of note that I want everybody to understand is down in the solid waste report, the circumstances surrounding the Envirothon contest. Now, this is a contest. Those have been around for a while. This has been a kind of a tradition going back how many years, I don't even know. But it's an environmental information contest that's done with the various school districts. And overall on the surface of it, it's a great thing. It provides a little bit of scholarship money to kids around the county out of the solid waste fund, encourage them to go into a hard science and environmental study type of thing. But there's some problems. And the main problem is in tracking and accountability of the program. You can have freshmen that participate in the contest and qualify for a scholarship. and then you got to track them, because the scholarship actually isn't awarded until they're seniors in high school. So there's a lot of tracking, there's a lot of accounting that goes on. Kids forget about they even qualified for the scholarship, and not, the teachers don't always do a good job and you know, keeping, you know, our side of the house figured out. So what the committee decided to do is we're going to fulfill, our recommendation is to the county board is to fulfill our commitments that we have as of this date, and then stop the funding. Really, if we want to talk about having, and if you'd like to, if the county board would like the solid waste to continue some type of scholarship program, then my recommendation is that we do it a different way, that where the county would have more control of this. This thing, it's basically $5,000 that goes out to the contest that's administered by NRCS, and we don't have any real control over how it's handled. And so that's something we can talk about at a later date. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
You still give them another 10,000 though, for RCS, don't you? Or what do you give them total?
I'd have to go back.
I think education or something, there's.
But I think,
I don't know if that 5 is part of the 10 or if there's 10 other.
no, this was strictly for the scholarships, is my understanding.
Well, you got budget hearings coming up. That'd be a time to address it, I think.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, but that's the recommendation out of the committee. That's what I got.
Questions for Jim? Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Public Safety met yesterday morning at 9 o'clock. It was kind of a short meeting. Most of the stuff that was covered by Public Safety yesterday is in the agenda for the meeting here in the executive session. So if you have any questions regarding them, please ask me, and I won't need to repeat that stuff again. So that's basically it.
Questions for Mike? All right, John?
Well, we met Tuesday at 9 and, met Tuesday at 9 and, under the old business, we just, talked briefly about the land and what things, installations is progressing nicely. Greg had a couple updates on carpet and so on. There is an alarm system that, I believe, did you cover that, Jim? That the sheriff said?
Well, the card reader.
Card reader.
For this building,
Not
yeah.
the alarm system is still in process. The card reader quote came to 18,622, I believe. And sheriff had presented it, and Greg Saunders gave me a copy of it. As far as the major project going on right now with Berglund Construction is the old courthouse tuck pointing. They're going to be starting on the 15th, which should be next Tuesday, I believe, like that.
Will they put a safety fence around the perimeter or something for our employees and keep paying taxes?
Have not discussed that with them, but we will.
We need signatures on them as you pass them around. Whatever.
So that's going to be starting. They're going to work off lifts rather than scaffolding and so on. And I had a pre-construction meeting, myself, Greg, and the two primaries in the construction, and Dave Bowers was kind enough to stop by and help fill in some of the cracks. And we got the pre-construction meeting out of the way, and we met with the engineer one time prior to that. So I think everything's a good go for that.
Do we have some money coming back on that?
We'll have a couple of deducts in the fact that we're not going to be, I don't know exactly how much it is because it hasn't been figured out, but one of the things that was specified, it was kind of a boilerplate architectural design. And one of the things we won't be doing is sealing the grout. You don't seal grout on a building like this. You let it breathe and the water can weep away and it will last a lot longer. Not only that, but we're going to use a little different type of grout once we get away from some of the new stuff that was, or some of the other stuff that was put in about 15, 20 years ago. We'll find there's probably type N grout that was originally used, and that's what we're going to go back to. So I'll probably a little Portland packed in there, just oversight on what should be done. So
How deep will they go when they do that?
as far as they need to go.
No,
I mean, they're going to get the crumbly stuff out, pack in new. And they are going to use, can't remember the verbiage they use, but I'm sorry, Becky. Can't remember the verbiage.
Mike believes.
I know, she does. Out in the front left corner of the courthouse, they're going to do their show and tell. And we'll get a chance to see how the grout holes and how the repairs go, but
Sure.
make sure everything's compatible. But the Bill Zimick is going to be the project engineer from Berglund. And then Zach from Tyson and Billy will be here at least 3 times to start the project, the midterm, and the final inspections.
Is that part of the contract with Tyson?
Yep. We're good to go with money. The best connection lines are work in progress. There's a couple glitches with the MOUs, but that'll be worked out with the highway department, health department, and lots. That's on Cindy bills, but that's a work in progress with Charlie and
So where would that MOU be we were looking for today? Who would have that?
who would have the one that was sent as a
One that we're
boilerplate.
working on, yeah.
There is no that we're working on. We're going to work off one that was submitted by Greg Gates
Okay.
for lots. But there's some tweaks because of the Comcast hook up down at Lee County Highway. And the highway department is we have to discuss that. So.
Yeah, Becky. Yes. Mike.
So Charlie made recommendations to the MOU. So that, he said there were no,
And that was based on some of the concerns we had for IT not having the authority or being able to have access to that system. Because, the health department has their own IT person. Lots uses, I think, a different IT person as well. So that way the IT director has the ability to have access to those systems as needed. I didn't provide any language for that. I don't know if.
I think that needs to be done, though. I think.
Well, we had there, I talked to Paul briefly yesterday afternoon, and yes, you're correct. I mean, we've had Doug Carlson doing work down at lots and I believe some down at even the highway department and their main go-to.
I think what Charlie's alluding to is we need the verbiage for that. Are you going to do that or Charlie or?
Charlie.
What I can do is I'll have Brian work on it with Paul. That way they both are comfortable with what. Battle of the minds.
Your brain trust. All right. So, all right.
Okay. And then the rest we covered, we got the best renewal on the lease, which is in the packet. We discussed disposal of old courthouse furniture, and that's still a work in progress. Greg and I will have a walk around on that. We decided that we would go with the previous plan, that what we don't need would go to Andy Kitson, put on an online auction. The creation of the mass transit district is still pending because we didn't get the response we actually wanted from Oakland County yet, but they're working on that. And that's about it. Industrial appraisal project. This is something Jim's going to work out with one of the potential insurance carriers, but industrial appraisal, we didn't do that last year. It's usually done on the 5s. And last year, because of COVID, we didn't get that completed. And they approached me about about a week ago, and I talked to the gentleman that works for industrial appraisal. It's going to continue to be $9,300 to get it done, and can't start on it till August. It's in our budget. It was carried over from the previous year, which it would improve the previous year, and so Jim has got
I don't know if it's in our budget this year, is it or not?
Yeah, it is. I already checked with Paula.
Right.
That's about it, but somebody has some questions.
I need a list, and I think Becky's working on it of the rolling stock, like all the cars and trucks.
Pretty much got that in the old industrial thing. There may be some updates on that, Becky.
Oh,
But by and large, we went over the one that was compiled
do
in
you have that
18.
list or not? All the cars and stuff.
Cars, trucks. I'll give that to you.
So
Don't have it in front
how's
of
it
me.
listed on our insurance card for them?
Mhm.
Do we have like a
We have that.
fleet? Do we have a fleet thing or?
Well, there should have been. That was compiled at one time. And I'll make sure that we get that updated.
So the other thing, and this goes to finance, the 19 buses that Lots own, the county's been paying insurance on them. We need to have Lots reimburse the county. We need to figure out what part of that is Lots, because they should be paying their own insurance, so.
Well, they can get it reimbursed through the state.
Yeah, so it'd be nice to get ours and they can get reimbursed.
That's right. That's right.
So, but I mean, that would, I think, would be huge.
I'm not sure, Bob, is that included in the CIRMA package.
Marilyn's got a question. Let's see what she says here.
Yes, several months ago, maybe longer than that, I'm not sure. Bob, you questioned me on what vehicles were covered, and I got a list from CIRMA, which I forwarded to you. As far as the insurance cards, it's a fleet card that is in all vehicles, but I don't know what happened with that list. You were gonna see about getting it updated, and I never heard anything more.
Becky's working off that to
Okay,
get the list or whatever.
but they are all insured through CIRMA.
I think once we get that, we'll send it out to department heads and have every department head check theirs, what pertains to them, make sure it's accurate. And I think that needs to be updated annually. I don't know who should be in charge of that, but
We change.
Yeah.
I imagine Greg could probably take care of that as properties and then the other departments would just have to account for what cars they have. At one time, it was all categorized. Prior to 3 years ago, we had it all categorized as who had what. Some of that.
As I recall that list, it was pretty extensive by department. I'd have to see if I could still find it on my computer, but I'm pretty sure I forwarded it to the courthouse.
you got it? Okay.
You got it, Becky?
Is that list that you're working off of, does that include the lots buses?
I sent out a email to the department heads and asked for the list. So I'm compiling the information.
Okay, all right.
And I believe he did get back to me.
How do you want to prorate that for, as far, we're going to have I think, Bob, a figure so that we know how to go ahead and have lots pay their share of the insurance.
I think we'll ask Marilyn to go through CIRMA. We'll give them the certain ones and see how they figure it and have them give us an estimate or
Okay.
however they want to do it.
I
All right.
also talked to Lisa from CIRMA and her and I are working together. So
Oh, okay, right, sorry. You did tell me that a while back. Right. So nobody's has a
Okay.
problem with us doing that with lots? You're the rep out there?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, really,
Right. Only.
just fine.
Which can go off the agenda, which can be taken off the agenda.
Yeah, which can be, yeah, exactly, Chris. No, we had talked about this, oh gosh, going on
Yeah,
a year, 18 months ago,
Yeah.
when we had that whole transition with bringing the buses over.
Yep.
That lots would be reimbursing the county for the additional
I would think it'd be
insurance
huge, at
costs.
least 20,000 a year, I would think, 1,000.
Well, it's significant,
Yeah,
and
And they get
they should be carrying that freight.
and they can be reimbursed from the state.
Right,
From IDOT, so.
No, so no problem with what you're doing
All right,
at all.
we just need to get it done. All right, let's move on. Monthly claim sheet, pass it around. Everybody get a chance to look at it.
Paid vacation.
Vacation that's gonna
Here it is. I guess we'll wait on that till we pass that around. Thank you. Let's come back to that then. Let's let that go around before we approve it. Let's go to item number 6, the petitions coming to the zoning board of appeals. You got A through J there, their map amendments. Any questions? Do we need Dee to explain it to you, or I think she did earlier and today?
It's been explained to me because zoning reports properties. I know Dee wants to explain it to the rest briefly as to what the map amendments.
Of course, she's just gonna have to explain it at the county board again.
Amendment is, he's mostly, should I have my speech that I made Tuesday? Okay. What are map amendments, you ask? It's,
Well, I think that specific to what's going to be coming
Yeah.
before the board, not, I think we all understand what a map amendment is.
Yeah, I think we do it.
okay, so these are just cleaning up some parcels in the county. Next couple months, we're going to be mainly focused on the community solars that were approved in 2018, taking away the special use off those parcels and reverting it back to ag.
Right. So we definitely want this on the agenda. I think.
Yep.
All right, let's go down to petitions coming from the zoning board of appeals. The first one, Thanos property in Lee Center Township, we want that on the agenda, of course. And then we got the zoning office requesting a text amendment to the solar systems ordinance. Definitely want that. I mean,
So the first petition, the 21P 1564, that petition is, was voted not to be recommended to the county board. Did you just say that, Bob? I'm sorry.
Yep, but we still have to vote on it, right? Correct or not?
Yep.
Yep.
So we need on the agenda.
That's
A
7.
seven,
from zoning board.
7A.
Has to be put forward with positive.
You know, maybe when we do this, I need to read a statement from the zoning. We're working on that, how we should be doing that. Or do we just let everybody read their packet and go from there, Charlie? What, I know. But what's proper for me to say, I guess?
Are you gonna read it to them?
Well, slowly.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
Single syllables.
I just, so as a chair, the meeting, I can say that it was voted down 5-0 or whatever before we vote on it.
You would say that the zoning board of appeals voted to not recommend the special use permit.
A discussion on them too. All right. We have none petitions coming to the planning commission or from, I guess we do, from the planning commission, the wind ordinance. 6 minutes to the wind ordinance.
So last night, the planning commission met and reviewed our wind ordinance. We want to make amendments to that. So we're going to be handing it over to the county board to vote to send it back to the planning commission for a public hearing, just like the solar ordinance, kind of the same dealio.
Can we word that in something in my end so I know what I'm doing there when we get there?
We'll give you a sticky note.
Yeah, I need a sticky note or a little sign. All right, thank you, Dee. Announcements, we put that on, acknowledgements. Old business, the ordinance amending the regulating development of solar energy been held over in May. We definitely want that on there. We're gonna take that off the table. And then we'll look for motion to approve the new one.
When it comes, real quick, Bob, when it comes to reports on committees, and I think we've had this conversation, we have the lots on there on reports from committee. Jim doesn't, and I believe we don't need to be having, oh dear God, please take this
Okay.
off. So
All right.
on your copy, Nancy, is reports, totally delete D, unless they have a. So what this is, and I've thought this ever since I've been on the county board, this is a redundant report because as it comes, lots of reports to properties.
Oh, yeah.
Greg has all of that, his report, and then we come back and ask for a report from the liaison. Well, most of the time, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
And so now that is going to change, once we get mass transit district down the road further, and so we'll probably want to bring this back. But as it stands right now, it's a ridiculous item. Yeah, So so please take it off.
When you look at all the rest of the committees, we have a place on all their boards. Well, Lots doesn't have any board meetings since Arlen's been in charge, so there's no reason to continue to have it. So
Say that again.
While we're cleaning up stuff, I'm
They do
gonna
have
pass
board.
around this,
then he should be going.
the board member. You want me to pass this around and then we want to make a motion for them or something? So she has it on record, or what do you want to do here?
If you would just read it and that way it'll go in the minutes and then we'll have something to reference as far as the dates and the members.
All right. So I'm gonna read. You good? And the mic, talk on the mic if you want to talk. You're fine. I pointed to the American Rescue Plan Act, the committee, consists of me, Jim Wentley, John Nicholson, Chris Norberg, Rick Humphrey, John Simonton, Dave Anderson, Kevin Lally, Charlie Boonstra, Sarah Leisner, Patty Rudolphi, and Paul Rudolphi. They are the ARPA committee, which is going to meet this afternoon at 1 o'clock. The Labor Relations Board, I appointed for a term of today through 2 years to, or I guess to December 4th, 2022. Jim Wentley is chair, Katie White, and then Danielle Allen will be on the Labor Relations Board. So if we can make a record of that, and that way we can move forward with that.
So both of those committees run through 2022.
They run through 4th of December when the new board is set.
And Bob, I missed that list that you had for the committee, the first one you had there. There's no issues with, it's still going to be an open meeting, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. We're doing this, I read that, and we have to have, she's got to recognize these committees as I set them and have them in the minutes.
All right, I just want to make sure.
If you read our rules and procedures, it says that in there.
I'm not familiar with those things.
All right. About 3 different agendas here. Nope. All right. How much you want? How much you- I think we'll talk about that in finance or whatever, but going back to, or we'll talk about today in the meeting. So, all right. Where are we at?
That's just held over to be on.
Yep. And so we got all this old business. That's what we talked about, the ordinance. I don't have that. Wow. Alrighty. What about the GIS recording fee ordinance that was held over? We want that on there. Good smiling. We go to new business. You got 2 Joseph Meyer auctions? Nancy does?
Yes, could I speak on that just a moment, please?
Absolutely.
There are actually 2 from Joseph Meyer, and they're considered a surrendered certificate on these 2 parcel numbers. Okay, just to clarify that. It's not a tax auction. Those come after the auction in July. I just wanted to clarify that.
What's a surrender then? What is that?
Okay. So if you look at it, it was in your packet, and if you look down at the bottom paragraph, it does say that it's resolved by the County Board of Lee County that the chairman of the board hereby authorizes the cancellation of the certificate of purchase. So the above described real estate, like X amount of dollars would be paid to the treasurer and to be dispersed according to law.
Questions with that? All right. Redistricting, election and census data. I know you've been sending us emails on that.
Yeah.
Do we want that on the agenda though, or not?
See any reason?
Right, and Charlie said, as long as I keep you guys updated, and if you don't mind, I will just go through that real briefly. Like I said, again, I've been forwarding you guys an awful lot of stuff via your email, and I just want to give you an update. On 6/4, the governor did sign the redistricting map, okay? And then on 6/9, that I forwarded to all the county board members, the Republicans filed a federal lawsuit challenging the recently adopted House and Senate maps. There is also on here, it states due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the release of the 2020 census data has been delayed until August 16th, 2021. Which then also, I discussed this before, but petitions for running for office will be open January 13th, 2022, with the spring 2022 primary election is moved to June 28th, 2022 for a one-time change. Petitions for races will be filed beginning March 7th, and early voting then will open May 19th. So there is just a lot coming down the pike.
And you're redistricting, so to speak, the county also at the same time, right?
Correct, but we have to wait until the state has the census, and it looks like that is delayed till at least August 16th. So, and then that is why they just keep pushing, and so they've made, yeah, that recommendation, or I shouldn't say recommendation, it's been voted that that election will be moved. Yes,
They tried to do it without the census.
correct.
Can't make it.
Yeah, gotta have that. So that, you want that on the agenda?
I don't know why.
I think the only reason you need to have it on the agenda is if you want to have that explained to the board members so they know what's going on, just informational, but
Okay.
And I'm fine with that if you'd like me to explain it. I mean, again, it's in everything I forward
I
them in
have
the
had
email, but
questions, so it wouldn't hurt because I've had board members call me
Okay.
about our redistricting. What about, I need to back up to the Joseph Meyer tax auction. You want that on the agenda?
yes, it needs to be voted on.
Okay, well, it wasn't on your agenda.
It's not on the other one or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Copy.
If you look at your first page of your agenda, those always fall,
Oh, there it is.
sorry,
Yep.
yeah, so,
Very first.
Right underneath.
yeah, they've always fallen at the beginning of the agenda for the county board.
I didn't see it. I apologize.
All right,
It's not really, not really a tax.
let's
Correct,
move.
so it is worded different, that's why I just wanted to give you a heads up, because if you look at it there on the resolution for the agenda for next week, it is worded differently. I didn't want you to be confused. And that's all I have.
All right, so Bob, just on going back to redistricting, I haven't had a chance. I mean, it seems like every day something's coming out from UCCI.
As in you have
I
three
mean,
more
it's just
today.
Crazy. Yeah, and just so the committee knows, lawsuits have been filed in regards to the timing. So no big surprise. We knew this was coming, but it could, once again, it could change the timing of this, because one of the Republicans filed a lawsuit in regards to the data that the General Assembly used, that the governor did sign on,
Correct.
on how, what data was going to be used. The lawsuit has to do with the actual census data as required by the Illinois Constitution. So we'll see what happens there. So.
Correct. Thanks, John.
All right, let's move on to C. Update claims procedure recommendations. Do you want that on the agenda? Or?
I do not want it on the agenda, but I want to fill everybody on this committee in. Do not. Yep. Just filling everybody on this committee in. Ad service is looking at changing how we do claims. Right now, we have a lot of claims that are repetitious and spend a lot of time on that. With the administrator being hired, we are going to demo in an ad service that any claim less than $2,500 will not be read out loud in the meeting. Will still go across your desk just like paid and vacation just did. And then everything else will be read out loud greater than $2,500. So that's how we are going to address it. We'll see how it goes and then make a recommendation as we change it. Because we're looking at a lot of bills that are just repetitious. Utilities, phone bills. So if you guys are interested to see how it goes next month, tune in. So just so everybody knows that we're trying to get it more streamlined.
All right, thank you. We'll go to D, Shady Oaks 2, request for the county to accept a letter of credit in lieu of an escrow account for decommissioning plan. I think they filed permit fees last week, the way it sounds, so we'll put that on the agenda. Any questions about that?
And again, going forward on your agenda, it is listed as a resolution. It's just listed here as the request, which, okay, clarification. Yes, it is as a resolution on the agenda for next week.
All right, thank you. Resolution for creation of mass transit district. Are we ready for that?
Not getting a response.
I have the microphone now.
Ogle County. I think
Not as far as I know.
Ogle County's dragging their feet.
Right. We didn't get a response from Mike Rock. Yet I talked to the chairman up there and he was gonna put a, fight on state's attorney.
And Greg sent me a message on Tuesday that Mike Rock had given it to executive committee up there. I don't know when they meet or.
Probably would be next.
Becky, did somebody ask you to put this on the agenda or was that on last month's?
Same day, I believe it's Monday, and then they had their board meeting on Tuesday.
Okay.
Greg had asked me when I was taking agenda requests to put it on there. He said he didn't know whether or not we'd have it in time,
Okay.
but that's
All
why
right.
it's on there.
I just didn't want to drop the ball there. So, all right, we'll take that off. Everybody all right with taking that off? MOU of the health department, highway health and lots. I don't think we're ready for that either. Let's go to G, best
Yep.
lease agreement.
Yep, best lease agreement is basically same. As you all know, they occupy 2 suites over here, 2 rooms over there. Came out of properties 5-0. And
Do they use our phone system too?
they're
or
going to, yes, but there will be a reimbursement set up there too.
Okay.
There again, that's work in progress with Paul.
I have the lease agreement with the signature from Best, so I'll print it off for you to sign it.
Okay. All right. Want that definitely on the agenda.
So does that have to go onto the agenda now that it's signed?
I never signed it, did I?
Well, no, but you will today, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. He's got to ask.
It's usually there for
The
information
lease agreement?
purposes.
Yeah, I could
That
not
need to
find
go
any
on the
record of
county
it
board
being
agenda?
done.
What's that?
They've signed it. and
Yeah, I
can-
think traditionally in the past, we've done that.
I don't remember.
No, it was kind
Has it been on the county board agenda in the past?
No, I could not find it anywhere on an agenda.
Okay.
of an agenda. I don't remember 1 year or 5 years.
Every year.
And it wasn't on there.
No, it was not.
I think it just comes out of property when we sign it, as long as it proves the property.
Do we need to approve it here? Maybe it's on the agenda. Should we approve it? Executive committee?
Yeah, you can do a vote on it here.
Make a motion, we approve the lease.
How much is it a month?
600.
600.
Okay. Well, got a second, got a first and second.
You do us a lot of good. We got
John first and Chris second. I don't know if you got that. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. We don't need it on the agenda now. The replacement hires for circuit clerk's office, I don't believe we need them on the agenda. They're budget neutral.
Correct.
The replacement. Comcast franchise agreement.
Yep.
We need that on the agenda.
Uh,
Are we ready for it?
I don't think so, Bob.
All right.
I mean, she was gonna give us, she gave us a little information today, right, Becky? But we just, I think I asked for, how many outside and in the unincorporated areas. She didn't want to let that out. She's gonna go ahead and send something on that. And we have to sign the agreement by August, whether we elect to, receive the 5% franchise fee or not. But this will give us more insight on what we want to, which way we want to go with the 5% or whatever.
I think I talked to her and we got some of them answered.
Oh, okay.
So the other counties around us are doing 5%, she told me. She thought we had to have a hearing. I didn't see that in finance. Did she tell you guys you had to have a hearing?
Yeah.
I don't see, and Charlie looked at, I don't think we have to or whatever. I don't know what her.
And that's why I asked her about it. The way I understood it, if we went above 5%, that's when we needed a hearing. But normally it's just the 5% franchise.
Yeah, the way that that section was, I think it's 5.1.2 or whatever it is. The way that it's written, it makes it seem as though there needed to be, if it was change in the cap of 5%. But again, looking through the statutes and looking through the United States codes annotated, I didn't see anything that required a public hearing for anything under
Okay.
5%.
I'd recommend we go the 5%. She gave me a figure that was big number.
Pretty reasonable.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're ready for it or not. It's up to you guys.
You could at least go through and have the agreement signed off on and voted on by the county board. And then if you want to address the 5% next month or whatever you want to do, because you can do it through the entire 10-year period.
I was going to ask her and I didn't know if we could make a 5-year. 10 years is a long time to tie the county to something, stop and think about it. A lot of shit can change in 10 years.
So we could approve the agreement, and then if we want to go back, it'd still have to come back to the board.
So why do it twice?
Yeah, why don't we wait and do it right?
Do the whole thing at once, if we're going to read, which we obviously will.
Yeah.
But then with the additional 5% franchise fee, we just have to do it once.
Does anybody have a problem with the concept though, or what we're doing? No.
This is directly put on the customer's bill. And then they give us the percentage
It's
off
only
of that.
It's only tied to the movie part of their bill, not their
Part of it,
like
not
internet or something like that, I guess.
Just TV.
Yep.
Yeah,
the phone or the internet.
right.
The cities, Dixon's doing it already and, other towns are doing it. So
Yeah, it's been a reoccurring.
it'd be nice to take that funds and move it to our IT department and maybe put
It'd be great if we could,
with it or,
we could-
keep keep our outside.
Could we do that, Charlie? If we set that aside for like IT or a lot of upgrades on software and whatnot?
I'll give you the soft answer now, which is I think you can do that, but
Okay.
we'll check on it.
All right, thank you.
Great. I think finance committee could do that or whatever. Charlie
Yes.
okays it. So I don't think we want that on the. We're not, we might as well wait till we're all ready and make a note, Jim, or when we talk to them, see if we can do a 5-year agreement and just renew it at 5 years or something, but that's a long time, 10 years anymore. Things change so fast, you know. Proposal for auditing services. Jim, you want to take that?
Yeah, we decided to recommend to the board that they approve the proposal from Lauterbach and Amon. They're out of Naperville. We have had a good run with Whitley. They've done excellent work for us. This time, the pencil wasn't sharp enough. And I'll be sending something out, thanking them for their bid and their years of service for us, because Matt's done a great job with us. But, and I think, you know, it's good to get different eyes on stuff. You know, I mean, they haven't been doing it for 20 years, but at least 6 and you know, maybe different perspective. They had given references also from LaSalle County and Henry County. And I've got a call into Stephanie Thompson, the treasurer down there, and she's going to call me back and I'll get some more insight and give you an update on it. But that's our recommendation out of finance, to bring it to the board to approve that proposal.
So we want that on the agenda. And let's go to K, the funding for the EMA badge maker. We don't need that. It's already been taken care of, so that doesn't need to be on the agenda. I go to appointments. We got 3 resolutions. I think they need to be on the agenda. Raffle report,
0,
0.
0.
Thought we signed one, or you have one for me to sign? Maybe that's next month then, huh?
It's the raffle license.
Okay, all right, sorry. All right. Executive session. I'd probably entertain a motion to go into executive session. That first and second. Roll call vote.
Bob Olson,
Yes.
John Nicholson,
Yes.
Mike Copine,
Yes.
Jim Sheeline,
Yes.
Thorberg,
Yes.
Jim Wentling.
Yes.
Okay, Jonathan, we're going to the
We need to probably